We are clan-isms, cataclysm great. Our people here struggling, trying to make it in the state. Everybody out here knowing it, but we don't too late. Now family, we the ones who gotta delegate. Keep that money in the power, never be fake. Stick to code, stop for 3. What did he say? Create jobs, support our own. Educate the same power at your home. Got 3 degrees, triple 10. 3 PhDs, now we on the CNN. BBTV, let's talk about negligence. Ignorance is bliss, but we can turn it to intelligence. Believe none of what you hear, half of what you see. Let's break it down here on Dr. Boyce TV.
Hey, what's going on, guys? I hope you guys are doing well. I'm Dr. Boyce Watkins from Your Black World and the Black Business School. And I saw something today that really got me going in terms of thinking about this crazy fight that happened on Thursday night football. And I have a few thoughts I want to share on this that might actually give you some additional insight into what happened, how it happened, why it happened, and all that good stuff. So give me 1 second here while I send a text message out. I like to send a text message out to the tribe to let them know that we're live. If you want to get a text notification when we go live, just text the word Boyce to 31996. Text the word Boyce to 31996. And so anyway, let me give me 1 second here. I really want to talk about this because I don't know if you guys saw what happened in the Steelers-Browns game. Give me a yes or no if you saw what happened in the Steelers-Browns game. It was really, really a crazy situation. And basically there was this crazy brawl between a white guy and a black guy. And it was messy, it was chaotic, and it was really sad to watch. One of the players ended up taking the helmet off the other one and knocking his block off, like just literally hit him upside the head. And it was pretty bad. It was pretty ugly. And anyway, I watched it and I remember just kind of thinking, like, wow, this is terrible to watch. Like, I did not enjoy that. I really kind of felt like, it looked to me based on what I saw that the blow was unnecessary, that, you ain't got no business hitting nobody upside the head with their own helmet and all this other stuff. But actually there's more to it than meets the eye. I thought I had an opinion on it, and I do have an opinion, but my opinion has actually evolved thanks to Etan Thomas. I don't know if you guys know Etan Thomas. Give me a yes or no in the chat and let me know if you know Etan Thomas. Etan Thomas is a good brother and a very smart black man. So give me 1 second here. Let me let everybody know that we're live. Let me see. Okay. All right. So here's the deal. So here's what happened. Okay. So the brother's name. I'll read this to you guys so you'll know kind of what happened here. Basically, there was a quarterback that plays for the Steelers by the name of Mason Rudolph, and he got into this crazy situation with a guy by the name of Myles Garrett. Myles Garrett plays for the Cleveland Browns. Myles is the guy who has been hit, with the biggest penalties and everything from the fight. He's a brother. He plays for the Browns, and it was right near the end of the game, and it was right when you thought the game was over. And so anyway, Garrett comes in. Myles Garrett comes in, and he tries to tackle Mason Rudolph, and they go to the ground. They start skirmishing, and then next thing I know, Myles Garrett grabs Mason Rudolph by his face mask, which is just terrible. I mean, if you ever play football, has anybody in here ever played football before? If you play football, if somebody grabs your face mask, you're like being pulled around like a puppy. Like you can't, because your neck isn't stronger than their arm. So so he pulls him by the face mask, and then he rips his helmet off his head, and he swings at his head with this helmet, and it's terrible. And he hits him like right on the top of the head, and it was the visuals were horrible. Mason Rudolph had the quarterback, the guy who got hit in the head. He actually had a concussion earlier this year. I don't know if you guys saw that, but he had been knocked out cold. Like a guy had hit him and knocked him out cold. That made like national news, and so this really made national news. But anyway, when I saw this, I saw the quarterback Of course, when his defensive lineman who protect him saw this guy hit him in the head with his helmet, of course they went after the dude and they're just kicking Garrett's ass and kicking him on the ground and body slamming him, all this, which I would have done too. You know, if that was my teammate and I see you take off his helmet and whack him in the head with it, I'd probably want to fuck you up, right? So I didn't think that they were wrong to retaliate at all. I thought the retaliation was fine. I thought that's how it goes. You know, you do some trifling stuff like that, bad things are going to happen. Now, here's the thing. Here's what made me think a little bit. So Etan Thomas, who's a friend of mine, he's a former NBA player. He's a very smart black man and a good brother. Etan Thomas, you know, said actually, you know, Myles Garrett wasn't as wrong as the media portrays it. It doesn't mean that what he did was right, but he was actually retaliating to something too. He was retaliating to the fact that Mason Rudolph, the quarterback who got hit in the head with the helmet, had tried to pull off Myles Garrett's helmet. So Myles Garrett, the guy who is on video hitting the quarterback in the head with his own helmet after he ripped it off his head, he was mad because Mason Rudolph had tried to pull his helmet off. And I watched the video very closely. I'm going to share it on my Instagram. My Instagram is the real Boyce Watkins. Feel free to go check that out. And basically, you see where they're on the ground and the white guy, the quarterback, is pulling the guy's helmet, like trying to rip his helmet off, right? So he pulls it off like the back of the head. So he's like, "Oh, you trying to rip my shit off? Oh, I'm gonna rip your shit off." Right. So he you know, the difference is that the defensive linemen are stronger than the quarterbacks. When they get a hold of the quarterback, you know, they jack him up pretty good. So he's stronger than him. So he basically is like, "Oh, let me help you. Let me show you how to pull somebody's helmet off. Since you're so determined to pull the helmet off my head, let me show you how to do this." So he pulls the helmet off his head, and next thing you know, bam, he whacks him upside the head with his own helmet. Now, was that necessary? Probably not. But there's a difference between a guy just deciding, "I'm going to take your helmet and whack you in the head with it," versus a guy who says, "I'm going to whack you in the head with your helmet because you were trying to do the same thing to me." His actions, Dory, you're right. The actions are inexcusable, but they're not totally inexcusable. The actions are inexcusable, but how about this? Mason Garrett or Myles Garrett's actions were inexcusable, but his actions were not the only inexcusable actions that were committed in that particular brawl. There were several inexcusable actions that occurred, and Myles Garrett's inexcusable action, based on the video, go watch inexcusable action. If that initial inexcusable action had not occurred, then the inexcusable retaliation never would have happened. Are y'all feeling me? I don't know. I'm not trying to sit here and say anybody's innocent in this at all. I'm just trying to say that I'm literally Etan Thomas. Shout out to my homeboy Etan, because he changed my opinion on this. I saw it this morning. I'm sitting there, I'm trying to eat my eggs, and I'm like, what the fuck? Oh my God, you can't do that. You know, like, you can't hit somebody in the head with a helmet. Oh, he might be out of his mind. He needs to be out of the league forever. Like, I don't like that. I don't like dirty football. I used to be a football player, and I'm always, you know, I always squirm when I think about how many guys have been paralyzed and had horrible things happen to them or whatever. You know, so I don't like to see dirty play on the field. But, you know, so I was really disgusted with Myles Garrett, and I still am. I still think he could have handled it better. But let's just be clear. The visual that the country is focused on is not the entire story. That we can be clear. Can we at least agree on this? Give me a yes or no if you can at least agree with me on this. Myles Garrett never would have pulled off Mason Rudolph's helmet had Mason Rudolph not tried to pull off his. Yes or no? Yes or no? Do I sound crazy? Do you agree with me on that? That the retaliation, none of it would have occurred had the initial action not occurred. Had Mason Rudolph not tried to remove Myles Garrett's helmet first, Myles Garrett wouldn't have tried to remove Mason Rudolph's helmet, right? So in a way, it's kind of like, you know, I run up on Dwayne Johnson, The Rock. I run up on The Rock, and I say, I'm gonna knock you out, and I run up and I hit him in the face, and he's like, "Yeah, that's all right." And he's like, "Let me show you how it's really done." And he cocks back and he punches me, and I fly back 30 feet, you know, down the street. Was I a completely innocent victim in that situation, or did I kind of earn a little bit of an ass whooping in that? Did I at least earn a little bit? Like, did I earn at least a little bit of a fraction of that ass whooping? And maybe that's why you would never see me run up on the rock, because that just probably wouldn't end well for me. So it would be wrong to say that he's the only violent person in the situation, or that his actions were completely unjustified, because I hit him first. I attacked him first, right? And so I think that what Myles Garrett is really being punished for more than anything, he's not just being punished for the fact that you just don't do that, right? You ain't supposed to take somebody's helmet off and whack them upside the head, no matter what they do to you. Even if they try to take your helmet off, I don't think what Myles Garrett did was right, because it's going to hurt him and his family. This man may never play again. I think he's probably feeling bad right now. He's a kid. He's 23 years old. He's probably sad because he dedicated his whole life to football. He may never get to step foot on the field again, because you know what the NFL does. The NFL will blackball your ass forever and give zero shits about that. But my perception, though, is that the media isn't seeing this in its entirety, as a holistic interaction. They're seeing it as black guy hits white guy in the helmet. Oh my God, he's a savage. He's an animal. What kind of animal would go and attack someone like that, for no reason? So I think the fact is, the bottom line, whether you agree or not with the punishment, because he's been suspended indefinitely, he'll be suspended all this year, and he may be gone forever. I believe there's a good chance he'll be gone forever, because the NFL wants to make an example out of people that do things like this. But I think that it would be wrong to analyze all of this without talking about what happened first, because basically the other thing Myles Garrett's being punished for is because he won the fight. He's being punished for the fact that that he was able to actually deliver on the ass whooping that Mason Rudolph was trying to deliver but wasn't capable of delivering. So he's being punished for being stronger than this other guy. He's being punished for being a better fighter. That's what it is. Because if Mason Rudolph could have got his helmet off, why are you trying to take the guy's helmet off? What you trying to do with that, right? Like I don't know. Was he just trying to rip it off so he could see what he looks like? Or you think Mason Rudolph, the quarterback, the innocent white boy, was pulling the helmet off so he could get him a little weapon, right? Again, I don't know, but I think it reminds me of when does anybody give me a yes or no if you remember this? Do you remember when your boy Ron Artest got hit in the head by some stuff from some fans were throwing stuff at him, and he like went up in the stands and got to whooping ass, and they didn't know what to do. It was almost like how scared spectators would get if the lion escaped the cage at the zoo. Like they literally were that scared. Like the athletic black male is a scary animal for white folks. Like, let's just be real. That's how race in America works. Like just like a big bear. Like it's like, imagine a bear that could tap dance and ride a tricycle, right? It's really entertaining to watch, right? They love to watch these big black men do these amazing things, but it becomes very scary if the bear gets, has a bad day, gets pissed off, and decides to run up in the stands and hurt somebody, or decides to eat his trainer in front of everybody, right? Which would make more sense for the bear. So a lot of these black athletes, as long as they're controlled, they're great entertainment. But when they get out of control, when they do something that seems scary and dangerous, they tend to over punish in order to make sure that they train these animals on how to behave, that they make an example out of them, that they love to make examples out of these so-called violent black males, so that they can just make it clear that, you do not do this ever again, or you will be punished. That's how you train an animal, by the way. They train slaves just like they train animals. The training methodologies were quite similar. And so, I think that's what they're going to do here. That's what they did with Ron Artest. With Ron Artest, they gave him one of the worst punishments, I think the worst punishment and suspension in the history of the NBA. When Latrell Sprewell, anybody, yes or no? Tell me if you remember this. Anybody remember when Latrell Sprewell got pissed off and choked his coach, PJ Carlesimo? Anybody remember that? Anybody old school that remembers when? If you haven't seen it, you got to go watch the video. Watch the video. I think there's video out there. Anybody remember when Latrell Sprewell just went off and choked the coach? And remember that? Same thing. Animal breaks out of the cage and starts acting crazy and starts to attack the real humans. And now we're going to make sure that we set an example with him. They gave him at that time the worst punishment in the history of the league. Now, mind you, there have been dirty players who were not black. Bill Laimbeer was an incredibly dirty player for the Detroit Pistons, incredibly dirty. I don't remember them ever making an example out of him. They might have fined him, they might have penalized him, they might have suspended him, but they never made an example out of him, right? Was Bill Romanowski? Any football fans in the house? Anybody remember Bill Romanowski? Bill Romanowski was a nasty son of a bitch. He would punch guys in the face. He would kick them in the nuts. He would bite their arms. He tried to break Shannon Sharp's arm doing a pass play one time. Bill Romanowski was a dirty son of a bitch. And Bill Romanowski, I don't recall them ever making making an example out of him. And when they talk about how terrible and how violent he was, it's almost like a joke. Like they laugh about it. Like, yeah, old Bill, he was crazy. He was crazy, man. But I think at the end of the day, if Bill were black, if he were black Bill Romanowski, I think his career would have lasted about 2 years, and they would have put him out. He would be gone. He'd be in jail somewhere. Because in fact, even with the Mason Rudolph Myles Garrett case, they're trying to make him catch a case off this. There are people saying that you should pursue legal options. You should call the police. This was an assault. And I'm like, it's an assault. They're playing fucking football. People get assaulted on every play. What are you talking about? What do you mean calling the cops? Prison time? Really? Come on, man. Like, that's ridiculous. That's ridiculous. Players get hit in the head on the football field. They get concussions. Things happen. Sometimes it gets out of control. This was very much out of control. But the idea of calling the cops based on what happened on the football field I don't believe they would do that if this guy were not black. I just don't believe that. Right. So anyway, do me a favor right now. If you haven't done this, you guys are watching on financialjuneteenth.tv.com and also on the Facebook page. Share this to your page if you're on Facebook, and please hit the thumbs up button if you're on YouTube. If you're on YouTube right now, hit the thumbs up button. And some of you may not know this channel. This is financialjuneteenth.tv.com, where we actually put a lot of evergreen financial content. So we always tend to talk about financial stuff. And I accidentally went live on this channel, so we're here. That's why we're here. But go ahead and hit the subscribe button, because it's actually a great channel, and we have lots of great financial content on that channel. We just kind of have a lot of platforms that do financial stuff and all kinds of stuff. So I told you, we're building black media, so we can use your help. If you subscribe, that really helps us. So please hit the thumbs up button right now, and please subscribe. Doc, you need mods on here. Yeah, I do need mods. So Andrew, you're going to be my mod. All right, so you're a moderator now. Thank you very much for saying that. All right, so my final point. Here's a final point I want to make about this whole fight and this whole brawl. I believe, ironically, in a very strange way, this brawl is this is something the media hasn't really hit on yet. They might think about this later. I don't know. But I believe that this brawl is actually going to help Colin Kaepernick. And let me tell you why. This brawl is going to help Colin Kaepernick because I'm noticing that the conversation has shifted even throughout the day. In the beginning, it was, oh my God, this is terrible. How in the hell did this happen? Why did this guy hit him in the head with a helmet? And then, of course, the guys that retaliated against him got suspended and stuff too. But it's really about that hit on the head. Like that. It's like he did what they call those little beavers that pop up, and the moles, you hit the moles on the head. Like, it was kind of like that. Like, it was really scary to watch. And that's where the conversation started. Now the conversation shifted to, like, wait a minute, hold on, let's back it up. Let's look at what happened before. Before the big incident took place, right? And so they're starting to see this stuff that happened before. They're starting to see where the white guy wasn't as innocent as he now has a racial incident on their hands. They have a racial controversy on their hands. And what I believe is going to happen is that the NFL is going to actually reinstate Kaepernick. There's going to be some team that's going to take on Kaepernick because it's just for business. And because, number one, here's why I believe a smart NFL team will go ahead and pick up Kaepernick. Number one, the fans love this guy. When Nike did that commercial with Kaepernick, it was a great commercial. Nike saw a boost in their revenues because of it. It was awesome. It worked out well. Like, nothing died. Like, sure, there was a couple of toothless MAGA hat wearing hillbillies that burned their Nike sneakers, but they don't care about that shit. They ain't got no money anyway. Nike saw a boost in revenue because they signed Kaepernick. So Kaepernick signing is good for business because your fans are going to be happy with that. You're going to be seen as the visionary. You'll be on the right side of history. The number two reason why signing Kaepernick makes sense is the boy can play. He can certainly, he may not be as good as Mahomes, Patrick Mahomes, or my boy out of Louisville, Lamar Jackson. He may not be in that category. But he ain't as bad as some of these scrubs they got out here playing right now. Some of these guys are just terrible. So I think that Kaepernick can play better than at least half the quarterbacks in the league. So why not give him a shot? He can win you some games and make you some money. And then number three is, I believe for the NFL, signing Kaepernick will allow them to distract people from what I believe could be a brewing racial controversy over how the NFL's disparate treatment in this particular incident. I think because of the knee-jerk reaction, they really, really went out of their way to just severely drop the hammer on Myles Garrett, the brother who retaliated against Mason Rudolph. And the fact that Mason Rudolph got away scot-free, it's reminding a lot of people of how cops get away scot-free when they shoot a black man and the black man dies and he or whatever, right? Something happens to the cop and a black man. Well, the black man gets the whole penalty, whether it's death or prison, and the white guy gets away because he's seen as the good guy and the superhero. Mason Rudolph, without a doubt, in my opinion, was not the good guy. Now, I'd be curious to know what you guys think. Here, how about this? Rather than me asking you if you think that Myles Garrett's actions were unacceptable, let's go ahead and assume that. Let's go ahead and assume that it's entirely unacceptable to pull somebody's helmet off their head and bonk them on the head with it, right? We can vibe on that. That's our common ground. But give me a yes or no on this. Do you feel that the quarterback, Mason Rudolph, was completely innocent? Yes or no? Do you think he was completely innocent? Give me a yes. No, if you think that he earned a little bit of his ass whooping. Maybe he didn't earn all of it, right? Like you have I think Tariq Nasheed said this the other day, and I agree with that. Like, you don't have the ability to determine the terms of a clapback, right? Like, you can decide your action, but you can't decide what the retaliation is going to be. So, so I agree. So I see a lot of no's. And so that's where I think the conversation can be measured and fair and honest. And I don't feel like the brother got a fair shake, but I do think that he was misguided. And I think he knows that. And I really hated to see him lose it all on one bad play because he lost his temper. Because here's the other thing too. The NFL guys, I think that there should be more public sympathy for what they're going through. A lot of these guys have brain damage. A lot of these guys are on steroids, and then on top of that, you're young, you're full of testosterone, you're hyped up. It's the middle of the game. You're pretty much being pushed to almost be ready to kill people, So I'm not saying that it's okay. I'm just saying that, maybe we should also remember this was a professional football game. This was not, like he bonked somebody in the head at the drugstore or whatever. He did this in the middle of a heated football game. And so that's my 2 cents on it. That's my light defense of this brother, even though I cannot defend taking somebody's helmet off their head and bonking them on the head with it. But Mason Rudolph, again, had he not tried to take your boy's helmet off first, nothing would have happened. Don't start, and there won't be none. Y'all know what it is. So, because we black up in here, and we know what real justice looks like. Street justice means you might have tapped me on my shoulder, but if I'm big enough to knock your ass out, then a lot of people are not going to feel sorry for you because they're going to be like, you shouldn't have touched him, Boyce. You tapped him on the shoulder, and that's why he punched you in the next week, because your dumb ass should have kept your hands to yourself. So I'm not saying it's okay. I'm just saying that that's something to talk about. All right, guys. So hit the thumbs up button. If you're watching on YouTube, please right now subscribe. Right now, subscribe and hit the notification bell so you'll be notified when we go live and all this other stuff. Also, hit that thumbs up button, please. And if you're on Facebook, please share this to your page. Don't forget also, we're doing some estate planning events and all kinds of stuff in the Black Business School. So you can go to drboyceseminars.com. That's drboyceseminars.com. Or if you'd like to support intelligent Black media, we'd love to have you as a patron. We'll give you free stuff in exchange. Go to intelligentblackpeople.com. That's intelligentblackpeople.com. We would love to have your support. All right, guys, I'm out of here. Have a good day. I'll see you soon. Be good. Peace.